Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. So it's time to go through my November TBR as chosen by my TBR game. I'm a booktuber, get me out of here. If this is the first time that you're watching my TBR game, then I will have the playlist linked in the description just in case you would like to watch from the beginning. It's weird to think that I've been playing this TBR game now for coming up on 2 years, and I will be playing it again next year. I think this is going to be the last TBR game video that I'm going to be doing for 2023, mostly because December is going to be a really busy month. It's my birthday in December and then it's Christmas, and I'm expecting there to be a lot of readathons that I'm going to want to take part in for the festive season. So I think it makes sense to pause the TBR game rather than try and do a TBR game alongside fitting books into readathon prompts. I didn't actually play this TBR game last month because I was taking part in Bookoplathon, and then this month in November I think the only readathon that I want to take part in, if I can, is Junior Eurovisionathon, which is hosted by Helen from Helen's Bookhaven. Otherwise I really want a chilled but productive reading month. I want to make progress within some series, and I also have some exciting reading vlog plans for November as well. So yeah, I think that's everything that I needed to say in this intro. I am gonna stop rambling and get into the roles, and we're gonna find out what books I'm gonna be reading in November. Okay, so here we go with rule number 1, which is a 1, and that's fantasy. So rule number 1 landed on fantasy, and for this I have chosen The Heroes by Joe Abercrombie, which is another standalone within the First Law universe. I think this is officially book 5. Yeah, because there's the trilogy and then there's Best Served Cold, and then this is the next standalone that I need to read in publication order. I don't know much about this other than it follows some side characters from the first trilogy, but then also I think some new characters are introduced. It says 3 men, 1 battle, no heroes, and that is something that I like about this universe, is that the characters are not even morally grey sometimes. Sometimes they're just terrible people. This is the next book that I need to read for the Catch-Up Book Club though, which is hosted by Becca from Becca and the Books, and I think I'm going to get the audiobook for this and then read along physically, because that's what I did with Best Served Cold. This series is narrated by Stephen Pacey, and he does different voices for different characters, and yeah, it's a really good audiobook in my opinion. So this is the first book that is going on my TBR for November. Role number 2 is another 1, which is thriller. Role number 2 landed on thriller, and for this I'm going with The Trap by Catherine Ryan Howard, which is a fairly new release. I think this came out a few months ago and I have been so excited to read it. It's also not that long. I think it's less than 300 pages or around 300 pages, and I'm expecting it to be quite a quick read. I have so far loved every single book that I've read by Catherine Ryan Howard, and I'm hoping this isn't going to be the exception. The plot for this sounds really intriguing as well. I feel like it's going to be really suspenseful and tense. So this follows a woman whose sister went missing the previous year. A few women have gone missing recently and the police have kind of hit a brick wall. So this main character decides to take matters into her own hands and she sets a trap to try and catch a killer. It's described as an unsettling mystery inspired by a series of still unsolved disappearances in Ireland in the 90s. So really intrigued about this one. I'm hoping it's going to be another 5 stars. Roll number 3 is a 3, 1, 2, 3, which is Other. Roll number 3 landed on Other, and for this I've gone for The Whalebone Theatre by Joanna Quinn. So this is World War II historical fiction, I believe. It's set in 1928 and it's about a whale that washes up on the shores of the English Channel, and a young girl decides to build a theatre within this whale's skeleton, and this theatre becomes the place that she escapes to. It says here that it's a story of love, family, bravery, lost innocence and self-transformation. So not sure what I'm going to think of this one. I do have it on my Kindle because I spotted it in a 99p Kindle deal recently, and I need to read this for the Waterstones challenge that I'm doing this year, where I read all of the books that have been chosen as Waterstones fiction books of the month in 2023, and so far that challenge has been very hit or miss, so I'm hoping that this is a hit. Roll number 4 is a 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is fantasy again. Roll number 4 landed on fantasy, and for this I'm going with Fool's Assassin by Robin Hobb, which is, I don't even know what number book in the Realm of the Outlings, but it's the first book in the last series of the Realm of the Outlings. So the Realm of the Outlings is a 16 book series, which means this would be book number 14. My maths is not the best, but this is the next book that I need to read in the Realm of the Outlings, and I am scared because so many people say that the Fitz and the Fool trilogy is the best series within this series, and I don't think I'm ready for it. I feel like it's going to destroy me emotionally, and I don't know how I feel about that, but I am excited to see what this trilogy is about, because obviously it's right at the end of the series. I don't hear many people talking about the plot and what actually happens, obviously because people don't want to go into spoilers. I am going to be listening to the audiobook for this because it's available on Scribd, and that's how I've listened to most of this series so far. I was enjoying the audiobooks right up until the Rainward Chronicles, when they decided to keep changing the audiobook narrators, and it was really distracting. But yeah, even though I'm nervous to finally finish The Realm of the Outlings, I am excited to get back to this world because I think the last Robin Hobb book I read was over the summer, so it's been a good few months now. Roll number 5 is a 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is Other. Roll number 5 landed on Other, and for this I'm going with In Memoriam by Alice Wynne, which is another book that I need to read for that Waterstones challenge that I mentioned earlier. This is set in 1914 and is described as a haunting debut novel about 2 young men who fall in love during a time of war. So I'm expecting this to make me cry, or at least I'm expecting it to get very emotional. I have heard really good things about this book. Every time I go into Waterstones, I see posters with this book. I think it won a prize earlier this year, like some literature prize. So I do have high hopes for this, even though I don't think I've seen anyone on BookTube yet talking about it. I might have done and just forgot about it, but yeah, interested to see what I think of this one. I can tell this book is popular based on the fact that I reserved it through my library a couple of months ago and my hold still hasn't come in. I think I'm still 4th in the queue, so if it doesn't come through in November, then I might end up just buying a copy because I do want to read it before the end of the year. Roll number 6 is a 3, 1, 2, 3, which is Thriller. Roll number 6 landed on Thriller, and for this I am cheating a little bit. I know I'm cheating because I'm fairly sure that this book is more of a mystery rather than a thriller, but it's my game, my rules, and I really need to read this book soon because it's out already, but I got an arc of it through NetGalley, so I am overdue with getting my review live. But the book that I'm talking about is Happiness Falls by Angie Kim. This is about a biracial Korean American family in Virginia whose lives are upended when their beloved father and husband goes missing. Sounds like it might be a little bit emotional. I read Miracle Creek by Angie Kim when it came out in 2019 and loved it. I read it on the train to Disneyland Paris and I can remember it made me cry. Obviously that was quite a few years ago now and this is only the author's second book, so I'm interested to see whether I still like her writing. I'm sure that I will, and I'm sure that this is going to be another 5 stars. I feel like I've said that with every single book on this TBR, but I want more 5 stars before the end of the year, and I'm hoping that this is going to be one of them. Then this could be the final roll. It's not, it's a 1, which is a challenge, and the challenge is to do a Twitter poll. Roll number 7 landed on challenge, and the challenge was to do a Twitter poll. So I selected 4 romance books that are on my radar for November. I want to do a vlog where I keep reading until I find a 5 stars, and I want to do it with romance books because I feel like I haven't had many 5-star romances this year, but the options were You Again by Kate Goldbeck, Iris Kelly by Ashley Herring Blake, Twisted Lies by Anna Huang, and Something Wild and Wonderful by Anita Kelly. I decided to use emojis rather than the names of the books to try and make it a little more fair, but the winner was Twisted Lies by Anna Huang, which I am happy with because this is the 4th and final book in the Twisted series, and it is a series that I wanted to finish by the end of the year, so I'm finally going to be doing that. This follows Stella and Christian, who are 2 side characters from the previous books. Stella is a fashion blogger, and then Christian, I don't really know how to describe him, but he's like a businessman, and this is the story of their romance. I think it has fake dating from what I remember. I've heard a few people say that this is the most boring in the series, but honestly, I quite like romance books that other people describe as boring, so maybe this will end up being my favourite. The only thing that makes me nervous is this is over 500 pages and I can't see a way where I'm gonna think that that's justified, but hopefully I do end up at least liking this one. At least these books are quite quick to read, so I'm not intimidated by how long it is. I think I'm still gonna fly through it. So yeah, this is probably gonna be one of the first books that I read for that vlog that I mentioned, along with X's and O's by Amy Leah, which I still need to read from my October TBR. Okay, so hopefully this is going to be the final roll, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4. So that just brings me to the end of the TBR. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. Let me know your reading plans for November and if you're hoping to have a productive or chilled reading month. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and click subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me, but otherwise I will see you next time. Bye.